The thing is, it's really hard to make a change in our lives, in ourselves, if everything that happens to us during a day comes from habits and routines that we created in the past. We are literally dragging our bodies and our minds into the past. We are recreating our past in our future. So I read something last night that just completely opened my eyes and baffled me towards how much we actually keep ourselves stuck in the past without even realizing it, both mind and body, like physically, biologically. So say you woke up this morning and you immediately started thinking about something that happened yesterday or a week ago that you don't really like, or you immediately noticed something with your body that hurts or doesn't feel good. That is you reliving the past in some sort of way, okay? And that is probably not so hard to realize because these are things from the past that we remember when we wake up. But the thing that really opened my eyes that I read yesterday was the fact that if you woke up this morning and you started thinking about something you have to do today, some people you are going to see, an interview you're going to have, anything you're going to do in the future, you are most likely also reliving the past. And at first I was like, well, that is the future. How can you say that? But then I realized it because what I read, it's Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. And in this book, he says that even when you think about that person you're going to meet, for example, you have probably had a lot of thoughts and emotions regarding that person in the past. And that programs your mind and body in a certain way. So when you think about this person today, you are doing it from the past. You are bringing up the kind of thoughts and maybe worries and maybe negative emotions that you have programmed your mind to have about this person in the past. Or in my instance, I recently had a job interview and it was nothing like the jobs or the interviews I've had in the past. But the morning when I woke up that day, I found myself kind of anxious. And I thought, why though? Because this is a whole different interview. It's basically just me sitting down and having a coffee and chatting with someone. So I shouldn't feel anxious. I'm actually really excited about this. But by reading this, I understood why. Because even if I have never had interviews like that before, I have had job interviews. And every time I had job interviews, I had these thoughts and emotional responses to me, making me a bit anxious or nervous or worried, right? So my body and mind just brought up that programmed reaction from my past. The thing is, it's really hard to make a change in our lives, in ourselves, if everything that happens to us during a day comes from habits and routines that we created in the past. We are literally dragging our bodies and our minds into the past. We are recreating our past in our future. When we think about the same things we always do, say for instance, every time you brush your teeth in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, brushing your teeth, and you most likely have the same kind of thoughts every time you brush your teeth, because it's anchored in your body, which means that if you have some thoughts about yourself or about your day several times when you brush your teeth, that provides an emotion. And we remember our emotions by attaching them to the places we were at when we had that emotion, or the things we were doing when we had that emotion. So it's this circle. The things you think about provide specific kind of feelings attached to where you were or what you did. And then every time you go back and do that same thing, or you revisit that place, you will have the same thoughts which provide the same emotions. And we just live our life in this loop. And when we are so attached to our routines, to our habits, when we go through our days, there is very little room for something new, for something creative, for some change, to be surprised. We create no room for new experiences in our lives when we keep dragging our bodies into the past. Each and every day, each time you wake up with the same thoughts, creating the same emotions, your mind is making your body relive the past. And here's the thing, the mind-blowing thing. It actually not only is mentally reliving the past, but you are literally keeping your body stuck in the past, because every time you have that thought, very often it's negative thoughts, it's worrying thoughts, it's anxious thoughts, it's angry thoughts, it's thoughts of sadness, whatever. Very often they are negative. And each and every time we have a negative thought, we get a negative emotion because of that. And that negative emotion releases corresponding chemicals and hormones into our body. Each and every time we relive or revisit a thought or an emotion, that directly affects our body chemically, biologically. We release chemicals corresponding to that kind of emotion. So any emotion of stress or fear or anxiety or worry will create negative chemicals, negative hormones, stress hormones, that is like poison to our bodies. And we keep releasing these chemicals every time we relive that. And that puts our bodies into survival mode, because it has to spend all its energy on fighting or using or providing these fight or flight stressful hormones, that there is really no room in our body's energy left to renew our cells or to restore balance and move further, to actually provide or release the things our body needs to heal and to regenerate and to make new literal experiences in our body. So not only are we using our minds the way we did yesterday, but we are quite literally making our body stay stuck in yesterday, stay stuck in the chemical biological state we have been keeping it for quite some time. So unless we break out of these routines in some sort of way, we will literally keep reliving our past and drag our body bodies into a future that is a replica of the past. But most of us don't want that. I don't want that. I want to experience new things in my life. I want my body to renew itself instead of staying stuck in survival mode. I want new thoughts and inspiration and experiences to be able to come to me. And the funny thing is, when I woke up this morning after my alarm went off, suddenly I found myself jumping on the balcony railing outside of my bedroom, standing on the railing, looking up, stretching my hands and just jumping around. Not physically, but in my mind. And I got so baffled from that, so I just thought, I wonder what I'll do next. And then I climbed a tree. And this whole experience was so surprising and so weird and random that it just made me laugh. It made me smile. And then I remembered this thing I read yesterday, and I saw that, it was just the part of me that received that information so well, that wanted to show me how I could actually feel and how I could start my day differently by breaking out of the habits of what I normally do mentally when I wake up and do something else entirely. And it felt so good to just start my day laughing and feeling silly. And now I also know that by doing that, my body released new and positive hormones and chemicals into my body. So in that moment, I kind of reprogrammed and made room for something new with my mind, which made room for new emotions, and those emotions created new kind of chemicals and a new biology in my body. How interesting is that? We might not even realize that we keep dragging ourselves into a new past, a replica of the past each and every day. And it might even be the case if your surrounding changes too. Say you get a new job and it makes you feel good for a while, but you haven't changed any of these habits, mental habits and physical habits. So then after a while you will just find yourself feeling the same again, both mentally and physically, because it is not our surroundings, it is our internal habits that actually provide not only our state, our mood, but also our biology. So if we want our life to stay the same, then let's keep doing the same. But if we want something to change, we need to literally give room for new impulses, for new experiences, for new surprises, and for new chemicals and hormones in our bodies. I find it so interesting. I've never thought about it that way. I mean, I know about the mind-body connection. That's what I preach, and it's everything I think about, because it amazes me how much our mind actually controls or directly influences our bodies. But this was just a whole new layer of understanding that we need to actually give space for new things to appear. And it might not always be the easiest or most possible thing to just change our physical routines. I mean, we need to get up, we need to stretch, we need to brush our teeth, we need to make that morning coffee, we need to take that walk or drive to work. Yes, but what if we just change our experience, our mental routine, our experience in our minds? We can do the same things, but we can experience something entirely different up here. After I brushed my teeth today, I changed it physically too, because I just decided to put on a song, a happy song, and do a little silly dance in the mirror. And it made me feel so cringe and so stupid and so random that I just laughed. And it made me feel good. And I just realized that I can just do these small things. Sometimes I can do them physically, but the most important thing is, of course, to just do it mentally. Because everything starts with our mind. Our thoughts directly gives us an emotion, and that emotion directly gives us a corresponding biological reaction in our body. And I haven't thought about my routines in a negative way like that, because I have spent a lot of time making sure that I use my mind on purpose, and if I find myself having negative emotions, I find a way to change my thoughts, because I know that's where it all comes from. And I don't feel that my routines have provided negative thoughts for me anymore, but I still can see the value in this, because I'm not making room for new experiences. And I do kind of feel imprisoned by my routine sometimes. I have to wake up at this time, and then I have to go straight to the gym, and then I have to sit down with a cup of coffee and do my reflection and do my writing and my working. And if I just overslept one day, I feel like everything is out of balance, and I start my day feeling like I missed out on something. So that's not good. Or if I get an invitation to do something, but I'm like, oh, that's in the middle of my creative time for my day, where I sit and reflect and write down and decide what I feel like doing or sharing and all of these things. I need to keep that time sacred. Well, I'm not making room for new experiences. And if you've seen any of my latest videos, you know that I have had some massive eye-opening, awakening experiences lately. And I actually find myself trying to recreate them by visiting the same place where I had them at the same time when I had them, to try to recreate them. But then it doesn't happen, because I'm trying to force it with my habits. But it didn't come from habit. It came from me being open to new experiences. And I'm realizing I forgot, in a way, to bring my body with me in that new experience, because in a lot of ways I keep my body stuck in the past. I make it do the same things it does every day, and I leave very little room for new things. So this just gave me what I needed to bring my whole system into a new future, to bring my whole system into balance. I can't only use my thoughts. I need to give room also for new thoughts, for new inspirations. And the more I do that, the more I show my system, my mind and body connection, that new things are possible. So tomorrow, maybe I'll wake up and have a mental swim because I love swimming. I don't even know. I'm not going to plan it. I'm just going to do these little things to change my routines a bit, and to remember what it actually does to me when I just keep dragging my body into a similar past. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, what do you think about when you brush your teeth or when you wake up in the morning? I'm very certain you also have the same kind of experiences, the same routines. Just break up your mental routine, your mental habit. Look at yourself in the mirror when you brush your teeth and realize and laugh about the fact that you're thinking about what you always keep thinking about. and just do something else entirely, even just with your mind, and just let us make room for something new. If we want things to change, we have to look at our routines. Even if they're not bad for us, they are keeping us doing the same thing all over again. So maybe just find a way to change them up a bit. You know? I'm going to do that. Thank you.